TSN, Canada's sports leader.
You can feel it. To the right side, Canfield. And that's the match. The upset. The University of Manitoba. But he does the job. And they did it with the block. The University of Manitoba. They take the men's volleyball championship final.
Welcome to the Van Fleet Center on the campus of the University of Alberta for this year's CIS Men's Volleyball Championship Final between the number 2 ranked Winnipeg Wesmen and the host team, the University of Alberta Golden Bears. The gym is packed. It's going to be loud. Hello, everyone. I'm Glenn Suter, along with a man who has been involved in volleyball for over 40 years, 10 as a player, 39 as a coach, and 31 covering the sport on TV. When you started covering it, were the TVs black and white?
Well, in terms of our scouting, we used to use black and white reel-to-reel, but the television was colored.
Vic Lindo knows volleyball, I guarantee you that. 2 deserving teams in the final, Vic.
Oh, no question about it. The University of Alberta, they're in because of the host school, but they're clearly one of the strongest teams in the country. They were first in the Canada West Mountain Division, one of the strongest divisions. They beat Pepperdine this year. They beat UCLA. Those are top American schools. That Alberta team is very strong. University of Winnipeg were ranked number 1 throughout most of the year, right till the end. And they're obviously deserving of being in the finals. And remember, when these two teams met in the semifinals of the Canada West Conference, it was 2 matches to 1 for Winnipeg. Very, very close there, and it'll be very, very close here.
Well, when you're talking volleyball in the country over recent history, the West has been best. In fact, in the last 7 years, the champion has come from the Canada West Conference. Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, and Alberta all with 1 gold, and the University of Manitoba with 4, including the last 2 years. But their quest for a three-peat ended last night in the semifinal. With the help of the home crowd, the University of Alberta Golden Bears upset the Bison, and they did it with authority. That was the 3rd set. They did it in 3 straight versus the University of Manitoba. In the quarterfinal, they also went 3 straight. In fact, the University of Alberta has not lost a set in this championship final. They are on fire. And after the semifinal match, their first-year head coach, Richard Chick, said not to celebrate just yet. They still have 1 big match to go.
We've concentrated this whole week since we played and coming into this tournament that our first contact is going to be our most important contact, meaning our serving, our passing, our serve receive. That's going to be key because we think that we have the personnel in the right position, athletically enough, that we can get the ball to any number of guys if our passing's there, if our ball control's there. And so our first contact is going to be the biggest thing for us.
Vic, I talked to Richard Schick moments ago, and he told me that his team really does not have an MVP. They just have tremendous balance.
Well, no question they have tremendous balance. You notice Richard was sitting there very calm, cool, and collected. That's not the way he is in the game. He is fired up, just as he was when he was a player. I mean, he played for the University of Alberta. He started his volleyball in Brandon with the Pizzazz boys. He has 1 strong, balanced team. But Sandy Henderson, you've got to watch. They call him Grease. He's played beach volleyball. He finds a way to get through. And how would you like Pascal Cardinal to come off the bench? national team player, and he comes off the bench for whoever might be ailing.
Tremendous balance and great depth. Well, the road to gold medal game for the Winnipeg Wesmen filled with a few more potholes. They got a bit of a scare against number 7th ranked Dalhousie in the first set, dropping that one 25-19, but then went on to win 3 straight. And then in the semifinals, they were pushed to 5 sets versus Laval Rouge Or. It has not been an easy trip for the number 2 ranked Winnipeg Wesmen, but they are very deserving to be here. And while the University of Alberta may not have an MVP, the University of Winnipeg certainly do, and his name is Jason Defoe.
The only thing I can think of with Alberta, it would be nice for me. I thrive off when other teams think they have an advantage, like home court advantage fans, things like that. I thrive off that, get a lot of energy from that.
Vic, Jason Defoe, 20 kills in 2 matches so far.
Jason Defoe is one fired-up individual. I mean, we talk about the arousal curve. He goes up and up and up, and some of the coaches are a little concerned, is he going to go over the top? My contention is, how do you know where the top is unless you really get fired up? He gets fired up on his serve. He is one of the toughest servers in this event. And he also is fantastic in the front row. They're going to be going to him all the time. And then you got Chris Nelson, who sprained his ankle. And will he play? That's the big question.
Yeah, to the lower left of your screen in the semifinal versus Laval, Chris Nelson twisted his ankle. Some question as to whether or not he would even be able to play in this gold medal match. What's the update, Vic?
Well, they treated him all last night. They taped him right away. They put ice on it, and they actually worked on him all night. Now, Chris Nelson was part of this team. He was last off the bench when they last won the national championship. So Larry McKay, who, by the way, is now the national junior coach, said, Vic, I've got to start him. He has deserved that.
Well, this will be his last match at the University of Winnipeg. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineups for you in the CIS Men's Volleyball Championship Final between the University of Winnipeg and the University of Alberta.
The 2002 CIS Men's Volleyball Championship on TSN is brought to you in part by Source for Sports. With over 150 locations across Canada, at Source for Sports, we know our stuff. And by Tissot Swiss Watches, since 1853.
Hello.
Introducing the V-Box. Phone, text, email. First from Rogers AT&T. Imagine.
Grand Marnier. In a Cosmopolitan. On ice. In a Spanish coffee. Consider Grand Marnier. It changes everything.
I've been teaching aerobics for about 13 years now. I need a lot of CDs for what I do because I need music for different age levels. If you don't have the proper music for a class, it's not enjoyable for them. I buy my CDs at Walmart. You can go into the electronics department and find the music you're looking for. I just feel like maybe I should have been here as a dolphin or something. There's water in all of us, and I believe that there's music in all of us as well.
Like the sweet have a taste, there is no time to waste. It's cooking now at Swiss Chalet.
Honey Garlic's back, and the place is really buzzing. It's our juicy rotisserie chicken, basted with a special honey garlic sauce. Oh, so sweet and tangy. And served with our yummy grilled garlic breadstick, just $6.69. Swiss Chalet's honey garlic chicken. Tasty proof that life is sweet.
Action tastes as good as Swiss Chalet.
The Pontiac Sunfire, the sportiest car for the price.
Please ride responsibly. Avoid unnecessary risks, difficult terrain, and never engage in stunt riding.
ATV Off-Road Fury. Get it when you buy the PlayStation 2 computer entertainment system.
Welcome back to a packed house at the University of Alberta for the CIS Men's Volleyball Championship Final. The University of Winnipeg Wesmen ranked #1 pretty much all year. They slipped to #2 just before the tournament, led by Larry McKay. He is the head coach of the men's national junior team, and in his 13th season in Winnipeg.
Well, here's your starting lineup for Winnipeg. You've got Small playing on the right side. Nelson in the middle. Defoe, that outstanding power. Montgomery, a power, also going to be one to contend with. And Dobie in the middle. What's he going to play like in that middle? And Henley, the setter, 3 years at Douglas College before coming to the University of Winnipeg.
Ranked #5 heading into the tournament. University of Alberta Golden Bears are here. That's the head coach, Richard Schick, in his first year as the head coach here in Alberta.
And the Alberta starting lineup. Henderson on the right side. Carroll in the middle. Bell as a power. We've got Emsley as a power, and they're ready to go right now.
Well, Sandy Henderson will start things off. It has been quite a story as the University of Winnipeg draw first blood.
Right off the bat, you've got Jason Defoe running a combination. Larry McKay said to me, the key is we've got to run tempo 1 and tempo 2 combinations as much as possible. He said a lot of that depends on our passing.
20 kills in 2 matches for Jason Defoe, who is long on his first serve. The University of Alberta will regain serve.
Jeff Emsley back on the serving line. Coach Richard said, if I described him, it would be passion.
22 years old from Kelowna. So an early 2-1 lead for the University of Winnipeg. Remember, it's rally point, so every time there's a point scored on every rally.
Jared Small, number 12, has got the most unusual arm swing you'll ever see, but it's enough to throw people off, and particularly attacking from that right side.
Crowd obviously going to be a factor here, Vic, for the University of Alberta. They got the packed house and 2 upsets to get to the final.
Number 3 back on the serving line, Mike McPherson. Quiet and determined is the way in which Richard defines him. Lee Montgomery, he's a solid passer, but I think that the Sepp jammed him in there. He got stuffed.
Mike McPherson, 6'7", 215 pounds. He's in his final match for the University of Alberta, his 5th year of eligibility, and that turned away at the middle from Leo Carroll.
Well, Ryan Taylor, he's a true fighter, and he's there as the, as the right side blocker and the setter, and he'd be pretty happy to be part of that. A setter's always happy to be part of that block. I know my setter, Carla Soares, is always inspired when she can do a block.
Ryan Taylor played very well in the semifinal versus the University of Manitoba. That's his set for him. And the finish from Brad Bell, who finished University of Manitoba on Friday night in the semifinal.
Brad Bell, in describing him, they said a heart of a champion.
Mike McPherson continues to serve 5-2 for the hometown University of Alberta Golden Bears, but that is Jared Small.
Jared Small with it's almost a windmill spike. And I said to Larry, is he got a shoulder problem? No, and the reason is because he does end up coming straight through on the ball.
Jared Small, 6'5", from Brandon, Manitoba, and he'll continue to serve. Just one player, one starter for the University of Winnipeg, not from Manitoba, and that is Ryan Henley, who is from BC, the setter.
He went to New Westminster Senior Secondary School, and I said, Ryan, there wasn't much of a volleyball program there. He says, you're right, but, we did have a team. And he played for Golden Spike.
Defoe just tips it over. Ryan Taylor can't get to it.
Winnipeg trailing 4-6. Lee Montgomery, he's a solid passer, so having him in the back row is good. We didn't announce Sean Scarcello is the libero for Winnipeg.
Now is it libero or libero? Because I've heard,
Libero.
Libero, okay.
You're absolutely right. I've heard both as well.
Well, you got two good ones in this match here this afternoon. Sean Scarcella, like you mentioned, for the University of Winnipeg, and Lucas Snyder, the University of Alberta. 1 and 2 this year in Canada West. This is Taylor to the outside. Sandy Henderson finishes.
Well, Sandy Henderson's also a pretty fair beach player. I saw him play in the Canadian Championship out in Vancouver, and again, he's one of those guys who will find a way through.
Canada West first team All-Star. Brad Bell to serve now. Jump spike serve, low and hard. Defoe goes cross court, but that's out.
Now, Defoe got in there a little bit too soon. Timing was off a little bit. Technical timeout on the board.
Good start for the home team. University of Alberta up 8-5 in set number 1 of the best-of-5 match in the final.
Change for $1.
Sure. Introducing the all-new Chevy Avalanche. The only vehicle that changes from an SUV to a pickup.
Thanks.
Chevy Avalanche, Motor Trend's 2002 Truck of the Year. Avalanche, like a rock.
Quando è bello, io tanto sentimento come tua che tiene in mente.
New from McCain. McCain International Thin Crust Pizza. Taste being there.
Welcome back to University of Alberta campus for the CIS Men's Volleyball Championship Final. And on the line is Brad Bell for the University of Alberta. Defoe recovered by the libero Snyder and is back over. The rally continues. Defoe again, off the block and out.
Defoe normally drives the ball straight cross court. For him to take and go down the line was pretty interesting because all of his attacks are normally cross court. See, they were blocking him cross court and he took the line, but that all came from a good pass.
Scouting report paying off. And this is Sandy McPherson. They call him Slick? Is that what they call him?
No, Grease.
Oh, Grease. same thing. Well, Sandy Henderson.
Yeah. Bob Harrison, who used to play for University of Winnipeg, they used to call him Grease. And I understand just over the weekend he just passed away. So he was a former assistant national coach with the 84 Olympic team.
Grease with an attempt there, go cross court, turn back. And this is Jeff Emsley.
Now you'll notice that Pascal Cardinal is not on the floor. He's a national team player. Now the reason he's not in there is because you got a guy like Emsley from Kelowna taking that sharp cross court. When that player gets outside past that antenna, you've got to move that block in. Winnipeg didn't do it.
10-6 Golden Bears early in the first set.
Chris Nelson all fired up. He went in. He hit what we call a 52. In my opinion, it wasn't a clear, quick hit. He hit it after it had already gone up, but he pulled it down inside the blocker.
Larry McKay watching Chris Nelson very closely in this first set. He, of course, injured his ankle. If you saw early in the show, he injured his ankle in the semifinal versus Laval. Question as to whether or not he would even play in this one. He's out there, starter in his 5th year.
Jared Small was over there on that block.
Emsley recovered there by Scarcello, the libero.
I don't think anybody was going to expect Defoe to come up with a
little tip there.
A little tip. Now, every time the ball gets spiked in this game, if it's even close to the blockers, the hitter always wants to say it was touched. Come on, guys. It can't be touched when you go 4 feet over.
That attempt by Jared Small not touched, and Sandy Henderson will serve. That into the net from Nelson.
Now, what the Winnipeg team wants to do is they want to start moving the middle around so that they can isolate on the shorter power hitters. I mean, Emsley is a power hitter at 6'2", so they want to move the middle and get a one-on-one against him.
Henley to the left side. Turned away. Ryan Taylor, who did this in the entire match versus University of Manitoba last night.
Timeout called by University of Winnipeg.
13-8. And Larry McKay will slow things down a little bit.
Well, he's got to really now be talking to the setter, and he's got to figure out what they're going to run. Now,
hey, that 31 you ran, Chris, is going to work. The alley's open, because they're committing the outside blocker out on Jared, so you got that. You just come straight in that alley. You're in good shape. Let's go 30, 13, 60. Okay? Good pass. Now, here we go. What?
Okay, Vic. 13, 60, 52, 31. What? It sounds like someone wants to take the ball from center here. What's going on? That's a little football thing.
Oh, football. Okay. Well, what he was saying is that in the 3 position, that is open because the outside blockers are fronting on the outside hitters for Winnipeg. So he wants them to run a 3, 13, and a 61. See, and he came in for the 61 and put it away.
Jason Dufault.
It's always a good idea for a coach. What I usually do is I always say to the setter, I said, no, there it is. See, he had him beat. That blocker had to get over there. They know they've got to go over the shorter power hitter. I always say to the setter, who are you going to set? And usually my setter knows who she's going to set. But in this case, Larry just said exactly what they were going to run.
Emsley goes cross court. Easily handled by Winnipeg. Defoe from the back row is long.
And it's clear that they need a game out of Defoe, and that's not the game they need. But they need him to come out of that back row. Now, what was the reason that went out? Possibly he let up on a little bit. He's got to smash it hard.
Power hitter, 6'2", Jeff Emsley with the serve. This is Taylor to the right side, and that is hit out of bounds by Sandy Henderson.
Sandy Henderson's taking a my fault thing there.
My bad.
Well, I just personally think the word is next. Let's just get on with it.
With the bad ankle, Chris Nelson on the line for the serve. Taylor back to the right side to Henderson. And this time, it's off the block and stays in.
The block went up a little bit too soon on him. I mean, he's coming out of the, he was coming out of the back row, and they were blocking him as though he was in the front row. The ball just came right down inside of them. The other thing, too, is blockers got to make sure they're penetrating. Well, these are good passes. These are very good passes.
Off the block and out. That was Jared Small for the University of Winnipeg. 15-11 in the first set of the men's CIS Volleyball Championship final. The University of Alberta. This is Jared Small from Brandon, but he's not small at 6'5". Taylor to the left side. That was Bell. The rally continues. Great work at the net by Leo Carroll.
Lee Montgomery was taken off the net that time, and it still didn't work. They still timed the block perfectly, so now we have a technical timeout.
It's the first set. It's 16-11 for the host, the University of Alberta Golden Bears. And we'll be right back.
Change for $1.
Sure. Introducing the all-new Chevy Avalanche. The only vehicle that changes from an SUV to a pickup.
Thanks.
Chevy Avalanche, Motor Trend's 2002 Truck of the Year. Avalanche, like a rock.
Are you totally obsessed with steak? Perfect. Then come to the Keg Steak Obsession promotion till March 10th and satisfy your craving with one of our mouth-watering dishes. The Keg Steak Obsession promotion. On now till March 10th.
Well, the last time the University of Alberta Golden Bears won the championship was back in '97, and at that time, one of the players on that squad was their head coach, Richard Schick. Took over this year for Terry Daniluk. Well, he does his master's degree.
Yeah, Richard's going to be back again next year, too. He said to me, look, I've got it for 2 years, Vic. And, you know, this guy's a winner. I mean, he went down and coached Red Deer College, and there he won the national championship. Got a net violation. By the way, we get Scott Jeeves from Montreal is the down referee, and Larry Lebecq, he's living in Vancouver now, but he's a graduate of University of Alberta. Back in the days when Lauren Saula used to play on the University of Alberta men's team. Lauren's now our national women's coach.
Canada West All-Star Lee Montgomery serving for the University of Winnipeg. 16-12 Alberta in the first set.
Montgomery took a little bit off that, and that was all that was needed for Sandy Henderson to take it and wipe it off on the outside. Recognize when these people are taking it off the block on a wipe-off, they are doing it on purpose.
Brad Bell on the line, 6'2", 185 pounds in his 4th year. And he'll have to go hard to recover this one. He keeps the rally alive, and this is Henderson just getting it over. Henley, short set there. Turn back from Alberta. This time, it's the outside Jason Defoe who finishes. No question, Jason Defoe, the go-to guy for Winnipeg early in this first set.
Right, and if I was talking to Henley right now, I would say, Henley, I think it's time for you to just do the odd dump, just to keep them honest over there, because you've got an excellent dump back into position 4, and you've got an excellent dump towards position 1. There's a jump float.
And Dobie with that serve. Taylor to the right side. Henderson off the block and out. I should say off the bump and out.
Well, you know, the fellow in the back court, I mean, yeah. he felt he was going to, I mean,
Montgomery.
Yeah, Montgomery. Well, he is more than likely substantially upset because he had his hands on it.
On the line is Jason Brooks, and Richard Schick will do a lot of substitution throughout the match.
Yeah, Jason Brooks, Richard said to me, he says he's got character, he's positive, and he's relaxing. Positive, relaxing.
18-14 as Winnipeg tries to scratch back in the first set of this best-of-5 final. This is Henderson to the middle to Bell. Kept alive. Defoe on the outside.
Oh, took a little off that one.
Rally continues to the right side. Henderson off the block and in. Point Winnipeg.
Blocking is so key. And blocking, as my assistant coach Jason St. Clair says, blocking and serving are connected. You got to get a good serve and then get a good block. And you look for a combination of 10 points per game. Well, we got a timeout called.
Here now, okay? It doesn't mean you bury your head. You just keep swinging harder. Okay, you swing high, off those hands. Okay, just giving you a break in your back out there. But hey, okay, a couple mental lapses there. Don't wear your emotions on your face so much. Okay, especially the negative ones. The good ones enjoy. But the other ones, this, forget about it. Let's go. Come on, one pass. Hey, 1, 2.
You know, I really knew that I loved this Richard Schick, but now when I hear that, he says he doesn't want any of those faces. He wants them to be excited. But you know what else he said? Swing hard.
Yeah.
Take it off that block. Take it to him. No wonder he's a winner.
Well, you know, don't show weakness, I think was the other message in there. When things go wrong, don't show that emotion on your face. Henley to serve. Emsley off the block and out. Point, University of Alberta. I thought in the semifinal, Vic, Richard Schick did a nice job, not only with substitutions, but also calling timeouts at the right time to change momentum. He might have just done that there.
I would say that was a good observation. You're becoming a great volleyball commentator. There it is.
Defoe kept alive by a scrappy University of Alberta team. This is Henderson, just gets it back over. Henley to the left side this time. That's finished by Stephen N. 2015 University of Alberta.
Well, Stephen Enns is now in there as a sub, and he normally goes in as a finisher. He plays right side, so they brought him in. To see teams now have players as finishers, like Cardinal would be in that
That's
situation.
the way to come out of that timeout, boys, with the 3 and then with the wipe off out there. Okay, let's go. We can still get the mids involved here. Okay, they're just reading. They're reading, okay? So make some noise and demand the ball from them, okay? Demand the ball from them and just hit your shot. Know how they play defense on you really shallow, okay? So anything deep scores. You drained them on a timeout. Now let's push, okay? Let's go. Come on. Hey, 1, 2.
2 timeouts per set per coach, plus the technical timeout.
Well, right now, Mike Noble's giving me some stats here. University of Winnipeg, number 5 is passing at a 2.7, which is great. Number 10 is passing at a 3, and number 13, Jason Defoe, is passing at a 2.6. Coaches would like a 2.6 or a 2.5 on a 3-point scale.
That is Defoe with the finish for Winnipeg to keep them alive in this set, and he'll go to the line. I mentioned national team member. He's the only player left on the roster from the '98 national championship team in Winnipeg. Henderson from the back row. That is out.
Chris Nelson.
And Chris Nelson, yeah he wasn't starting then.
No, he played left bench.
Well, that's why I think it was so important to have Chris Nelson play in this game for Larry McKay, being injured in his last match at the University of Winnipeg. This is Defoe. Right serve, Taylor, quick set. Taylor again. Emsley just tips it over. Talked about that tip. Defoe with the little tip. And a great effort there by Snyder to keep it alive. And then they can't finish.
Defoe was very, very close to that 3-meter line when he came out of the back row. Now, when we watch Defoe get up here, they're just in there now.
Great effort by Snyder, the libero.
That's what you call a pancake.
But they couldn't finish that, and Jason Defoe will stay at the line.
And take a look. The ball is going to go so high, it's going to come out. Oh, there it is. We'll be able to see it on that angle. He has the highest toss of any player here. Well, that was a little lower, actually.
It goes deep.
Oh, they're calling for interference. Larry Lebeckman
On Montgomery.
says they're calling for interference.
Lee Montgomery well over the net when he made contact. Substitution here now. Richard Schick. Puts Emsley back in the game, and he will serve. And he serves it out. 21-19, University of Alberta.
This is tight. This is tight. Chris Nelson.
The ankle looks okay so far, Vic.
Well, he's not going to show. He wants to stay in there.
Great story, Chris Nelson. Walk on 5 years ago.
Now, where Nelson did well there, he's very deep, and he served very deep. So he pushed that serve, a float serve, deep into that last meter of the court.
34.8% kill efficiency this year in Canada West. That ranked 5th.
There it is again.
A big part of Winnipeg's success. And there's a great dig by Chris Nelson, but they can't finish it. Defoe can't get to it. Great effort there by Nelson, but point for University of Alberta, 22-20 now. Remember, it's the best of 5. The first 4 sets go to 25. You've got to win by 2. If it goes to a 5th set, that one will be played to 15, and again, you'll have to win by 2. At least 2.
Ryan Henley attempted a recovery there, and he went with a beat shot, pokey to recover. He might have been more appropriate if he'd gone with a forearm pass here. Jeremy Kingian from Dutchess Park, Prince George.
More substitutions from Richard Schick. He did this in the semifinal versus University of Manitoba all game long.
Jeremy King is a gifted athlete, as Richard says, and hasn't been playing a whole lot. But how about that? We're in the finals. This is a crucial match. He's being put in to serve. But Dutch's par. And Murray Laidlaw is his beach partner. Murray played for the University of Manitoba.
Richard Schick using substitutions to just try and get 1 or 2 points, and he usually will substitute a player to put him on the line and serve, and that's exactly what King does there. Keeps it alive, and no, that point, Winnipeg. Well, 23-21 in set 1.
Ryan Salvador is now in for the University of Winnipeg. Both teams going to their bench.
Stephen Enns on the line, 6'4", 185. Goes to about mid-court. This is Taylor to the left side. Brad Bell. He can't finish it off. Defoe this time, and that's long.
Okay, the setter made a hand set, and he was behind the 3-meter line, so it was quite all right. One of the rules in the game is that if you're a setter, you can't hand set ahead of the 3-meter line. 24-21.
Set point for Ryan Taylor. The crowd's in it now. Henley down the middle.
Cam Doby
just touched it.
Cam Doby.
Yeah, no.
Cam Doby, number 8. But that's what Larry wants to do. Larry McKay said we've got to work over the middle so that that middle becomes very honest. Larry uses what's called bunch blocking. He keeps his blockers bunched into the middle, and then they do a swing block to the outside, whereas Alberta is fronting on the outside.
Lee Montgomery. This is Taylor to the right side. Leo Carroll. Set 1. University of Alberta. They'll switch sides. University of Alberta, ranked number 5 heading in, have won set 1.
This update is brought to you by Midas. Midas, we do that.
How you doing? Blake Price in the TSN newsroom here. 12 games in the NHL today, including the Rangers hosting the Flyers, and Eric Lindros's 3rd game against his former mates, and a pretty good start for him. First period, he gets the Rangers on the board off the block shot. Lindros sweeps the puck into the net. That's his 24th of the season. 1-0 New York, currently 2-1 for the Rangers. Stars in Colorado, first period, Mike Modano springs on the horrid turnover in all alone on Patrick Waugh. Modano wins this one. Shorthanded goal is 31st. A 1-0 Dallas lead. Elsewhere, it's the Red Wings and Penguins scoreless in the first period. Jackets and Kings meeting later on this afternoon. All 6 Canadian teams on the ice tonight, including Toronto hosting Buffalo, the Oilers hosting the St. Louis Blues. Sports are coming up live tonight at 6:30 Eastern. More of the men's volleyball championship is coming up on TSN.
The beat kicks, then I start rocking. Rock it like this. The beat kicks, then I start rocking. Rock it like this. Woo! The beat kicks, then I start rocking. The beat kicks, then I start rocking. Rock it like this.
The all-new 2003 Toyota Corolla S. Change the way you move.
Oh, when you're smiling. Yeah, when you're smiling. The whole world, it smiles with you.
Smiles, crispy outside, mashed potato inside. From McCain.
Vic, you and I were in Laval last year with a packed house there. It was a great atmosphere. It is again this year, and University of Alberta will have the championship now for the next 2 for sure, probably 3 years. And it is a packed house, of course, with the home team in the final.
And Alberta is a great volleyball community. I can remember, back, I was thinking of Costa Crescenta. I'm trying to think back to the coaches back there. Hugh Hoyles, Lawrence Sula. They've had, and Terry Daniluk. They've had an incredible run in their men's volleyball in terms of their coaching and what they've done. This community is on fire for volleyball. I was just talking to Hank Katerchuk, who goes around the country helping people prepare games. You know, they've got the Universiade here. This is one sports community. Oh, by the way, just on statistics, University of Alberta is only passing at a 2.23 on a 3-point scale. Now, you may ask me, what's a good number?
What's a good number, Vic?
Yeah, that's what I thought you'd ask that. 2.6.
Okay.
But the University of Winnipeg is passing at 2.7. Now, some of the coaches, Dale Ullman, Ron Pike, Frank Enns, had said to me, the University of Winnipeg has got to do it off the serving line. Put them in trouble. Well, they're doing that to keep them at a 2.23.
Lee Montgomery will start things off for Winnipeg. Taylor to the right side. That's Henderson. Kept alive there by Sean Scarcello. And this is Defoe blocked, but blocked out of bounds.
And again, it was nice that we had the point made. That was a good serve, and the pass was right around the 3-meter line, which then immediately eliminates your options.
Montgomery on the line again. This is second serve of set number 2. 1-0 Winnipeg early. Let's make it 2-0.
Remember what I said now. If the pass is the 3-meter line, it limits your options. If the pass is on the other side, it definitely limits your options.
Well, it puts the option now to the other team. Lee Montgomery, 13 kills for Montgomery versus Dalhousie in the quarterfinal. He continues to serve for the University of Winnipeg. Henderson inside the block and in. That's the first point of the second set for the University of Alberta. Now 2-1 Winnipeg.
I hate to suggest it, but Lee Montgomery let up a little bit on that serve. Maybe he just wanted to rip 2 and then go easy on 1.
Vic, we talked about this yesterday, though, about debating rally point and how that affects the mentality at the service line, and you think you should go all out no matter what.
Absolutely.
Because if you lose it now, you lose a point as well as the serve.
My opinion has always been my opinion, inside out or in rally point, that you've got to be ripping that serve. Now, that depends, you know. If you were against a team that's not as good as you,
Defoe can't get it over off the net. He was way to the left side of the court, almost in the stands.
Like, for instance, at younger level, my daughter Andrea has Sizzle Pow is the name of her little bantams, okay? And she keeps track of the percentage that they serve in. That's what Henley's to do.
Ryan
get
Henley.
Up there and make them honest with those dumps.
Little setter dump for Ryan Henley. And it's tied at 3 in set 2.
Henley, a college player, 3 years at Douglas College. And interesting, I think there's 6 or 7 players that have gone the college route that are playing for the University of Alberta.
Serving for Winnipeg is Cam Dobie. This is Defoe. The libero gets to it. That's Snyder. Back over here, and it's Henley that finishes things off for Winnipeg.
Chris Nelson set that whole thing up by attacking in the middle and getting a 1 on, a 1.5 on the outside.
Talked about Henley going to Douglas College, and we talked a little bit about that as that serve from Winnipeg goes long. Talk a little bit about that, Vic, and your thoughts on, rather than going straight out of high school and maybe sitting on the bench in some of these good volleyball teams, going to college for a couple years and actually playing.
You got the University of Alberta with 6 people that played the college route, including Pascal Clement, or Clement, I should say. Or no, Pascal Cardinal. Pascal Clement is the coach of Laval. Yeah, well, if you come out of high school and you have an opportunity to play a couple of years at college, you go right in and you start playing right away. Then when you arrive at university, you are mature, strong, and experienced.
Engineering student Jeff Emsley in his second year from Kelowna, BC. Serves it dead into the middle of the net.
Well, Emsley's got to be ripping those balls. I mean, his job is to get up there and rip it.
University of Alberta Golden Bears have not lost a set. 7 straight now, including set 1 here versus University of Winnipeg in this championship tournament. Defoe blocked and out of bounds. Point for Winnipeg. They take the lead 6-5.
Well, they want to go over there and see if they can go over Ryan Taylor a little bit shorter. I mean, he again went the college route. true fighter, as Richard said.
Ryan Henley with the serve, and that is way long. Mike McPherson.
Larry McKay up cheering them.
They're up in row 4, but there's no quit in either team here, as you see. Jason Defoe and Chris Nelson with the bad ankle, along with the libero Sean Scarcello, all the way up in row 4 to try and recover that volleyball. 177 digs for Sean Scarcello, the libero for the University of Winnipeg. Nice dig there. This is Bell. Scarcello again to Henley to the left side. Finished strong by Jared Small.
Jared Small, if he gets a good set on that outside, there's no way those guys can figure out what he's going to. Technical timeout at 8 points.
University of Winnipeg have battled back. This is set number 2. They are up 8-6. We'll be right back.
Thank you for learning to skate, for picking yourself up and trying again, for wanting the puck, for learning to shoot, for loving our game. But most of all, thank you for having a dream.
The 2002 Pontiac Montana, with the added traction of Versatrack all-wheel drive. Pontiac Montana, built for drivers and their families.
Well, the first team All-Canadians in men's volleyball this year, led by arguably the best player in volleyball. Dennis Zukov was the player of the year. See Jason Defoe in there, the first team.
And Mike Mundy, and you notice that Zukov is with the University of Calgary. They had another great recruit. He would have been first year, and that was Chris Galanzowski, and he just came down with cancer just before the season started. He's recovering. We wish him well.
Jason Defoe, 6 kills so far in this, just a set and a half. Defoe keeps that alive, and now he'll have to just get it over. Henderson will go to Taylor, to the left side to Brad Bell. That's turned away.
Net
violation. University of Alberta, and that will be a point for Winnipeg. 10-6 now in set 2. Here's after one set. Vic, what did you see in those stats?
No, they're pretty even. I mean, the big thing I was looking for was the passing, which is what we're getting. Winnipeg's passing really well. Winnipeg with 14 kills. Where are we on? Oh, there it is right there. It's the blocks. You see it's the blocks. The University of Alberta is picking up the blocks.
Are you up? Yeah. Okay, you forget about Jerry's side. He's got it. Hey, you may be by yourself. All right, which means you can reach middle right side. Middle right side. All right, here we go. Come on now.
Two different styles in these head coaches. You talked about it earlier. Richard Schick and Larry McKay. Larry McKay very reserved, very quiet, very calm over there on the sidelines. And Richard Schick gets a little excited. Told me he sort of coaches like he plays. Tons of enthusiasm.
Larry appears
inside he's not confident.
He's got Mike Mulvey down there too as one of his assistant coaches who has played with him for quite a few years.
Defoe on the line just gets it over, and that counts. So
you only get those breaks if you rip the serve, and that's what he did.
Well, it's been a two-man show here so far in a set and a half. Defoe with 8 kills. McPherson for Alberta, 7 kills.
Well, as Richard Schick said about Mike McPherson, quiet and determined. Pascal Carnell is in the lineup now.
11-6 Winnipeg. That one is long, by a long shot from Defoe.
Pascal Cardinal, besides being a great right side player, is a great passer, and he has been out, and mainly because he had a broken finger, and they didn't want to bring him on too soon. But he's a national team player, so watch for some sparks from him.
Ryan Taylor with the serve. This is Henley to the left side. Strong finish over there by Lee Montgomery.
And it all came from that great pass. You notice the pass was right on the money. They were able to hold the middle and get a one-on-one on the outside. Giving the signals now as to what they want to run.
Chris Nielsen was in tears yesterday when he thought that his tournament was over with that ankle injury. And the training staff worked on it all weekend. And Chris Nelson has a chance to play. They'll sub for him right now.
Well, yeah, that's the beautiful of the libero rule, but being able to come into the back row, he just gets a nice little rest. Now, there is another perfect pass.
Off the block and out. Jared Small. Look, he tried to go cross court there, went off the block and out, and Small is on the line.
Well, that's the case of the outside blockers wanting to make sure they hold it in too far. He just in. I remember Brian Stevens.
Just in.
And Larry McKay, we don't get a shot of him, but he's out there saying, guys, you let the umpire make the call.
That's Pascal Cardinal. You mentioned him earlier, national team player. The luxury for University of Alberta's Richard Chick is he can substitute Cardinal.
Yeah, Cardinal is going out to play on the power position. That's the left front. And that's not his normal position, but when I was, chatting with Larry, he says, wherever he plays, he hits the ball hard. I was talking to his parents. They are all.
And one thing that Richard Chick said about Cardinal is that his attitude has been tremendous. He hurt his finger early in the year and has been out for most of the season. But when he came back as a guy coming off the bench. But he hasn't complained about it. Now, this is a national team member, remember. You're talking about here.
He's learning patience, as I think I heard. Brad Bell, did you see him come out of that back row on that pipe?
Float serve from Sandy Henderson. And Defoe from the left side goes cross court for the winner. It's 15-10, University of Winnipeg in set 2.
The University of Alberta has one of the more sophisticated statistical analysis systems that they've been using for their women's team, and they just allowed their men's team to use it this weekend. And all Mike Noble was showing me, they can run all the plays that Jason Defoe has run against them.
Just out off the block. The block came from Taylor. But Jason Defoe had enough force behind it, and it went out the back line. It is 16-10, University of Winnipeg. University of Alberta took set 1. We'll be right back.
Introducing Gourmet Cafe. Streusel coffee cake desserts by McCain. So ravishingly tempting, they're perfect for any occasion. Gourmet Cafe in cherry, apple, or blueberry streusel. Smothered in a cachet of fruit, fresh ground cinnamon, and sweet brown sugar. Gourmet Cafe by McCain. Dessert at home will never be the same.
The beat kicks, then I start rocking. Rock it like this. The beat kicks, then I start rocking. Rock it like this. Woo! The beat kicks, then I start rocking. The beat kicks, then I start rocking. Rock it like this.
The all-new 2003 Toyota Corolla S. Change the way you move.
Coming up tonight, Scott Tournament of Hearts action. It's the semifinals between Ontario's Sherry Madaw and Team Canada, defending champions Colleen Jones. That's 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific time. Scott Tournament of Hearts. A little curling for you, Vic, tonight. I know you'll hustle home after this match and make sure you check that out.
That was a line violation on the serving. I saw a lot of curling in the Olympics.
In the Olympics, yeah.
And I really enjoyed it.
Defoe so far in this match, 10 kills, 2 aces. No question who the go-to guy is for University of Winnipeg. On the line now is Cardinal, and Alberta scratching their way back into this set number 2.
Well, Ryan Henley going up with the dump. Now, they, the University of Alberta, looking at their statistical analysis where they can look on video, they know he's prepared to do that on certain situations, and so they were on him. Now the shot
just caught the line.
Yeah, the shot that Defoe hits like 90% of the time is cross court. But what's even more important, he hits it deep cross court.
And you have to get up there to go that deep and go that far across the court.
And also, particularly that last one was a bit of a shoot set. Quick dump shot
there
by Taylor. And an unbelievable tip shot.
Jared Small.
Jared Small.
Now that's called a tip shot, but yesterday you told me the U.S. like to call it the dink shot.
Yeah, the original term was a dink shot. So
the dink shot.
Dink. The dink into a position. Whereas in Canada, a bit more sophisticated, we refer to it as a tip shot.
You said, Vic Lindell said that.
Well, and my assistant
they were right
coach
there with them. Okay, you can't get too dug in in position 6. He's just hitting that shot now to 5. Okay, so stay central, don't get too wide, and let's be able to move on that ball. Okay, you dug yourself a hole, now you got to dig yourself out. Okay, let's go. Come on, together. Let's go. Come on, 1, 2.
The hole is an 18-12 deficit in set number 2 that Richard Schick, head coach, the University of Alberta, was talking about.
Well, Richard was also saying, he said, look, he's hitting deep into 5. You got to stay out there and dig those balls. My assistant coach, Jason Sinclair, he says you want to tip the ball into the short emu or the long emu. That's Hawaiian. Just give you a Hawaiian term. The ball's out of
Taylor
bounds.
to Brad Bell, but it's long. 19-12 Winnipeg. Ryan Henley stays on the line. In his 4th year out of New Westminster, BC, Ryan Henley to serve. This is Taylor to the right side. Sandy Henderson. Henley just gets it back over. Great work at the net by Jared Small. Got a little bit of help there from Chris Nelson.
Well, the whole thing is that when you make a block like that, you've got to get the help from the two of you because you've got to be setting that. The outside blocker has got to set the block, and then the middle blocker's got to come and join him, and you form the wall. But what's even more important is you must penetrate and go right over the net. Now that's a deceptive serve. He's got a jump float serve.
I was going to say, Richard Schick, before the game, we heard him talk about the first touch by his team. The first touch here, not a good one from Jeremy King.
And Jeremy back in the game, and they're going to it.
There's King, cross court. Sean Scarcello can't handle it.
Well, Jeremy King is going to be just pretty happy to be in the game because he hasn't played a whole lot this year. But it's nice to get called upon to come in the finals.
Mike McPherson, second team All-Star, Canada West on the line. Defoe, great power on the cross court.
Ryan Henley making the incredible save at the net with a jump, one hand, back set. That was the key. Big substitution here.
11th kill for Jason Defoe, who will get a rest. Coming into the game is Stephen Love out of Winnipeg in his first year. Little pressure on Stephen Love at the serving line.
Well, particularly coming in for Jason Defoe, he looks pretty calm.
He looks like he's handling it well.
I don't know. I think he's a bit nervous.
22-13 Winnipeg. And in his first year, Stephen Love will serve. Float serve is not handled by Alberta, and they're reeling right now. All momentum on Winnipeg's side.
But you see, people are so accustomed now to receiving the spike serve that when all of a sudden you get a float serve in there, they're not quite ready for it. Made another substitution here for Winnipeg.
Another float serve from way deep from Stephen Love. They're saying that was in. It was a late call, but it was called in. Jeremy King keeps Alberta's hopes alive in set number 2, 23-14. And Ryan Taylor goes to the line.
Jeremy King is from Prince George, Dutchess Park. They're going to be cheering for him up there. I know one of my players, Jen Bond's going to be cheering for him. But he was on the BC Beach team. And I think he's got a great future in Beach.
Ryan Taylor maybe getting a little momentum back with the University of Alberta.
Well, Larry wasn't sure if he was going to have to put Sean Town in for Nelson. So he's put him in, give him a little experience as they're ahead at this point. Little mistiming there. Sean Town, number 11.
The leader for the Alberta Golden Bears, Ryan Taylor. And he sets it here. Backward fight off. Sean Scarcello. And Alberta's hanging in there.
I tell you, Pascal Cardinal hits a ball. Look at that recovery. He made the recovery, and now they're going to give it right back to him. So, how about that? He picks up one of the hardest driven spikes, makes a great save, and then comes right out of the back row and rips it. This is huge substitutions for Alberta.
Rookie of the year in the CIS, and that serve goes straight into the net.
Darren Wangel.
Yeah.
Richard said, when I asked him what he'd say about him, he said, composed.
This is Sean Town. Left side there, Henderson turned away. Again, some good work at the net from Jared Small. Small starting to become active. Set number 2 goes to Winnipeg. 25-16 is the final. We're all knotted up at 1 set apiece. They'll switch ends, and we'll be back for more volleyball action from the University of Alberta.
Are you totally obsessed with steak? Perfect. Then come to the Keg Steak Obsession promotion till March 10th and satisfy your craving with one of our mouth-watering dishes. The Keg Steak Obsession promotion, on now till March 10th.
Introducing the nimble all-wheel drive Saturn Vue. It's at home in almost any environment.
Hand-picked oranges. 100% pure juice. Pour out our best. Old South frozen concentrated orange juice. A tradition you can trust.
Your major award winners in men's volleyball in the CIS this year. We talked about Dennis Zukov of Calgary. They lost to Laval in the quarterfinals. He was the player of the year. TSN award handed out to Jeremy Jagir of Western for academic and athletic excellence, and of course Larry McKay, the coach of the year.
And Chris Meehan from Trinity Western. Ron Pike is doing a great job since they've entered into the CIS. Ron Pike was talking to him earlier from Trinity Western. And he says, Winnipeg has got to win it on the serve. Let's take a look. I want to see the blocks here. That's unbelievable. Winnipeg only had 7. Oh, that's accumulative. Okay. Wow.
We're adding them all up. We're just keep adding them.
Okay.
Okay.
So the University of Winnipeg, though, the stat that I'm keeping here, I got Mike Noble keeping it for me, is the Golden Bears only had a 2.2 passing average, and Winnipeg had 2.7. Now that's huge. If you get a 2.7, you can run an exceptional offense.
The leader, the Golden Bears, Ryan Taylor, to start things off. That's tipped just out of bounds by Brad Bell. Winnipeg starts off 1-0 lead in set number 3.
Ryan Henley up there with he's got a nice little dump shot that he puts back into zone 4. And in that particular case, the blocker was there. He just took it up and took it off his hands.
And Dobie with the serve for Winnipeg. Great work at the net. Chris Nelson's ankle looks just fine. He turned him away there.
Amazing what adrenaline will do. But Ryan Henley out there with a great swing block. Brian Newman, his coach at Douglas College, is at this tournament. I was talking to Brian. Brian is a former All-Star in this CIS, but it was called CIU. Oh, that is a super save.
Taylor to Henderson. And it's in. Just caught the line.
Now, that was an unbelievable save.
Big point for University of Alberta. 2-1 now Winnipeg, but Brad Bell is on the line. Henderson, 8th kill so far.
Ryan Henley in the front row. He's looking over. They're going to give it. Oh, Defoe making not a great pass. Net violation.
Net violation, Winnipeg. So it's all knotted up at 2.
So that was one of the first bad passes by the University of Winnipeg.
Brad Bell, 6'2", 185 pounds in his 4th year from right here in Edmonton. Serving for Alberta, and that's finished by Chris Nelson.
And the strategy again, go to the middle, and at the middle you're going to go with either 51s, which will be quick sets right in front of the setter, or 31s, and make that middle move. Once you start getting him to move, then you're going to work over the right side.
Alberta scrambling a little bit, both teams just trying to keep it alive. This comes from the back row with authority. That's Lee Montgomery.
And Jason Defoe, though, going over to make that recovery, he went over and he took it calmly with a presence of mind as he had to go over and take this ball. See, now he just takes his time and he says, okay, I'm going to put it right up to the pipe.
And then puts it right in the net. That's Ryan Henley who puts it in the net, I should say.
I mean, a few years ago, we were always so impressed that somebody'd be hitting a ball out of the back row coming through in the pipe. And here you get it off a really dangerous transition. Just going to it as though it's second nature.
6'8", Leo Carroll to serve for Alberta, who trying to get some momentum back in this 3rd set, and that will help. They tie it up at 4.
Now, Ryan Henley took the first ball, and then it was a little confusion as to who was going to take the second one. Their libero, Sean Scarcello, was trying to get around Ryan, wasn't able to do that.
Carroll again. This time he's long.
Now Richard said, Leo Carroll, an amazingly composed young man.
First year, 6'8", 220. Leo Carroll just put it long, and now
let's see how high he tosses this.
Jason Defoe with that huge spike serve. Taylor to the right side. Henderson tries to go cross court. That's recovered. This is Defoe from the back row, and he's long. Seems like Alberta getting a little bit of momentum back with Sandy Henderson on the line. Drops that one in the front court. Point Winnipeg. Lee Montgomery. that 51 set you talked about, Vic, to Mike McPherson.
There it is. He's up in the air and he's putting it down before anyone gets into position.
Jeff Emsley at the line for the University of Alberta, tied at 6 in set number 3. There's that quick set again, this time from Winnipeg, doesn't work. To the outside, Jared Small tries to go cross court. Partially blocked. Henderson. And Alberta take a 1-point lead.
Henley digging on that right-hand side. Setter's got to realize that they've got to be playing outside the block. They've got to be playing out there and digging those cross-court shots. Henley, and I'm sure, like that one again.
From Cochrane, Alberta, Sandy Henderson. That's off the hands of Alberta. It'll be a point for Winnipeg, who tied up at 7, and they put Jared Small on the serving line.
Cam Doby, who hit that one, has a spike reach of 11 feet 7 inches.
Small puts it out. It was all Alberta in set 1, all Winnipeg in set 2. We're in set 3, and the home team has a 1-point lead.
The 2002 Pontiac Montana, with the added traction of Versatrack all-wheel drive. Pontiac Montana, built for drivers and their families.
Thank you for learning to skate, for picking yourself up and trying again, for wanting the puck, for learning to shoot, for loving our game. But most of all, thank you for having a dream.
Welcome back to the University of Alberta. We're in set number 3, Alberta with a 1-point lead. Glenn Suter along with Vic Lindell and a special guest in the booth, Stelio Duraco, the head coach of the men's national volleyball team. Thanks for joining us, Stelio. What do you think of the match so far?
Well, it's been great. It's been a game so far that's been determined by passing and blocking. First set, Alberta, a lot of individual efforts, and Winnipeg, a lot of unforced errors. And then all of a sudden, the passing and the blocking of Winnipeg was great in the second set.
At every level, we always hear about the importance of passing. You can certainly see it with Winnipeg passing as well as they did.
Well, there's no doubt about it, and especially, Alberta tried to change up some of their servings, going short and going long, trying to create some problems, but, Winnipeg persevered on that and picked it up very quickly, and then the setter also started to change up his attack options, and those unforced errors weren't happening anymore.
Now, head coach of the national volleyball team now, who are you watching more than anybody in this match here?
Well, we're looking for the next generation of players. We've got 86 athletes that we're identifying so far in the last year and a half that I've been at the helm of this program, because we have to have players that are coming up. And so therefore there's power hitters certainly right now. We've got big guys in the middle, big guys on the right side. We're looking at the power hitters right now very, very closely.
Ryan Taylor.
What do you want your power hitters to spike reach touch? I'm not talking about their height, but what do you want them to touch?
We've got a couple of guys right now that are at 362.
To put that into feet and inches.
Well, it's about 11.8, 11.9. So you're looking at elbows above the basketball rim.
10-9 right now for University of Alberta in set number 3. Talk about the national team schedule and just what you have coming up, Stelio.
Oh, it's a great season. It's our focus this year was on quality. We're not in the World League, so we had to find good competition in order to prepare ourselves for the World Championships in Argentina at the end of September. And we've got some great events coming up with a rookie group that's going to go to Australia in May. We've got Argentina series in Ontario in June. We've got Croatia that's in our pool at the World Championships in Winnipeg in June as well. Then Australia back in Winnipeg. Czech Republic, the number 2 team in Europe, coming to visit us in Winnipeg in August. And then the pre-World Canada Cup prior to the World Championships.
Sandy Henderson finishes there to give University of Alberta 11-10 lead in this, the third set. You talked about building depth and that strength in finding great competition, the key to success for that team.
Well, there's no doubt about it. We've got some exceptional athletes. What Canada has lacked in the past is a sense of continuity. It has played with the best teams and it has beaten the best teams, but it hasn't done it on an occasional basis. The good teams in the world, they play against each other often every single year. We play against them every now and then.
They're battling in set 3 here. Staley, now, your volleyball career, I mean, your resume is unbelievably impressive. But it didn't start that way. It started in hockey. You must have been pretty pumped up to watch our teams win gold.
Oh, absolutely. It was fantastic. That's right. The trips to Hawaii, Brazil, and Italy changed my mind quickly.
The volleyball trips, yeah.
Well, the University of Alberta is coming alive, and the crowd is going absolutely crazy.
11 kills for Sandy Henderson. You got your eye on him as well, maybe, Celia?
You know what, fellas? He's a good young man, but he's not an impact player. He's a physical player. He plays very smoothly, but he's not a very dominating player on the right side. He does. At this level, he is very good, but at the next level, there are some players that are ahead of him right now. But I like the way he's playing, his composure, and especially he's been very key to them in their transitional attack.
Glenn Suter along with Vic Lindell and our special guest in the booth right now, Stelio Duraco, head coach of the men's national volleyball team. 12 all here in the third set. Taylor to the left side. Emsley working the net.
And they got a net violation because Ryan Henley actually made that set over the net and created a net violation. He got a break there. How about Jason Defoe's spike serve? I mean, that has got to be the highest off. It reminds me a little bit of those Yugoslavians.
Oh, no doubt. He has been one of the most consistent, and you've got to be very careful to try and side out on the first ball, or if he makes a mistake, because if he gets on a roll, he's very dangerous. There he is. He makes a mistake.
I found it interesting, Kelly, when we were talking earlier before the match. You were talking about watching these guys play under pressure. You saw Jason Defoe, a great player, but put one into the net. I mean, this is part of what you're trying to teach them, is how to handle this pressure.
You know, if you're going to make an easy serve like that, get it over the net, because there's no point. If you're going to make a mistake on a serve, then it's going to go out the back of the court, not into the middle of the net. And so, yes, and there are some things here that I've been seeing that certainly we'll work on with the players in their composure to finish the big plays.
That was Sandy Henderson off the block of Lee Montgomery, went out of bounds. So University of Alberta have a 14-13 lead in set number 3.
You can see why they call him Grease, taking it right off the block. But you know, when Ryan or Defoe missed that one, I mean, I think he was going with that half speed into the middle, which is, remember what Randy Gingero used to be able to do.
Oh, absolutely. It's a good serve. It's a good tactical serve. But I say you've got to be careful not to stop your arm swing. You've got to still follow through with the arm and with the wrist, or else that ball is going to come short.
DJ Montgomery, he was being blocked earlier on the cross court, so that was quite clever to go down the line.
I think there are the power hitters that I've seen in this tournament so far do not use the line a lot. They need to do that more, not only on well-formed blocks, but also on transitional situations and on also side-out situations. What happens is they get too comfortable and they go to where they feel the best, and that is the cross court. But Alberta in the first set shut them down.
Jeff Emsley serving for University of Alberta, 15-14. They have the lead in set number 3. Henley, short set in the middle to Cam Dobie, and it's tied at 15.
Nobody can touch, from what I understand, 11 feet 9 inches. It's in the range that you want, but you'd like him as a power hitter, I suppose.
Can't pass.
Oh, okay.
Can't pass. I'm picky, you know that. Can't pass, but certainly he's a player that has come into his own. Again, one of the biggest things with him is his physical attributes.
Brad Bell
got the ceiling on there.
Touch the ceiling. University of Alberta have a 1-point lead. We're going to take a break here, but I want to thank Stelio Duraco, and good luck with the men's national team the rest of the way.
Thanks a lot, fellas.
Stick with us. 16-15, University of Alberta in set 3. We'll be right back.
Introducing the V-Box. Phone, text, email. First from Rogers AT&T. Imagine.
If you're just tuning in, we're at the University of Alberta for the CIS Men's Volleyball Championship Final. We're in set 3, and if you want to see the highlights of set 1 and 2, check out Sports Center. Tonight at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Blake and Price will have all the scores and all the highlights for you.
Hey, Canada's national team program was originally in the hands of Garth Pischke, who did a good job. But you take Stelio now, who's got the experience in Italy, also Canada, you know, the coach of the Australian national team. He can get on the phone and phone any coach in the world and say, hey, listen, we need some matches. That's the essential thing.
He talked about the competition that's coming up for the men's national team, and it seems like with the philosophy that he has, that the national team's in good hands.
Yeah, having the quality play, and as he said, Korea's in our pool when we go to the World Championship, so we got to get some games against the Oriental style, which is quick, so we're going to play China. Also, I was mentioning to him, we've got a young kid in Victoria, actually a couple that want to be on the national team, but Matt Belchin wanted me to make sure that Stelio knew about him.
Oh, Defoe with great power on the cross court.
Well, and you know, Stelio said, hey, listen, you might get by on the cross court at this level, but you got to be starting to do the line shot. But you'll notice he had the cross court open. Those two blockers were not forming effectively.
Oh, the pressure starting to get to these guys a little bit. That's Cam Dobie into the net. You heard Stelio Duraco talk about it. He wants to see how some of these players perform when the pressure's on. And when you get down to set number 3 at 18-17, that's when the pressure starts to mount. This is Brad Bell from the line for Alberta. Left side, good power, and will it touch the roof? No! Bell waits for it patiently and gets it back over. Henley with the little dump. Taylor keeps it alive. To the outside, Henderson!
A good attempt at his back dump. See, he made the dump, but the libero was there.
13 kills so far for Sandy Henderson.
You're going to take the middle. Okay, we're leaving the D. 2-2 defense in the back. Dig him. He's going to hit it line. Okay? But I don't want you bailing. Okay? You've got to stay in there. Okay? Stay in there and take the shots to 108. Okay? And the guy releases. Okay? The middle releases out to power. We get to full. Okay? Yeah, 31-2. Let's go. 1-2. Come on, D. Take the shot away from one. He's not dumping again.
He said, hey, listen, we're going to overload on Defoe. That's as simple as what he said.
Might as well.
You're releasing and getting out there, and if he hits it, we're digging it in the back row.
13 kills so far for Jason Defoe from Winnipeg, so why not load up on him? This is Brad Bell. Hard serve just out.
Now, there is an unwritten rule in the game of volleyball that after a timeout, you must make sure the serve is in. Winnipeg, by the way, are passing 2.6, 2.5 for their main passers, whereas University of Alberta, 1.7, 2.3, 2.5, and you want a 2.6. So Alberta not passing as well as they would like to. But then again, if you're not passing well, it could be because there's some tough serving.
Well, for a minute there, University of Alberta had momentum, and all of a sudden at 19-all, Winnipeg has it back with Ryan Henley serving. The setter floats it back to about midcourt. This is Taylor to the left side to Emsley, off the block and out. Point Alberta.
is deceptive. Played for the Kelowna Volleyball Club. On the BC team. 6'2", still effective as a power hitter.
Leo Carroll in his first year serving. 6'8". He can't get there.
What we had there was a right X. Larry McKay said, I want as many combination plays or first and second tempo plays as we can possibly get, particularly on service reception when we make a good pass. 20 all.
Last time in this set, Jason Defoe put it into the net. This time, it's good and in the court. Taylor to the right side to Henderson. Can't get much power on it. This is Henley. Montgomery kept alive. Taylor goes back, and now they're just going to have to get it over. Henley behind him, and it's still alive. The rally continues from the back row. A little tip. Great hustle by Scarcella. Another tip. This one from Defoe. Defoe keeps it going. Left side Montgomery, and it's still in play. And kept alive by Bell. To the left side, Montgomery again. Cross-courted this time. Winnipeg has a lead by 1 point. Oh, great action there.
The Winnipeg cheering section coming alive. We have a few parents up there. And like you said, we've got the basketball team.
There's a little tension in the gym right now.
See, one of the big things you had there is in the recovery of Alberta, the ball was actually, past the center line, but it was out of bounds. So he was able to go out there and bring it back and keep it in play.
Timeout call. 21-20 in the all-important set number 3. Remember, in the first set it was Alberta, second set Winnipeg. 21-20 in this one.
Nice dig on that spike, Sonny.
Hey,
beautiful.
Where are you going to put the serve? I was looking more for location. We'll work on that next year then. Watch the back set. Watch the back set. Solid, stable block. If you need to take a more angle, that's okay as long as he's off the net. And solid. Okay, here we go.
Every point counts now. Let's go.
You just can't get over the different demeanor between both coaches. Larry McKay saying, yeah, okay, we'll work on that next year. And when it's Richard Schick's turn, he's in there just going at the guy.
He was saying, what's your serve? And Defoe said, harder. He said, well, I was thinking a little bit more like location.
20 kills in 2 matches for Jason Defoe heading into this final. He has 13 so far in basically 3 sets. A little bit to go here in the third set. 21-20, the lead for Winnipeg with their leader, Jason Defoe, their go-to guy, serving. Defoe, hard serve, and it goes deep. Taylor, a little tip, and Mike McPherson mishit it, but it counts. Alberta ties it up.
The miss hit is one of the greatest plays in volleyball. My old buddy Harry Bradley, who's playing the YMCA in Victoria, that's all he ever did, and it, really throws you out.
Henley blocks solid. So McPherson with back-to-back plays, the miss hit, and then the great work at the net.
Stephen Enns is to be over there as a finisher, just like the relief pitcher.
Henley with the quick set, but that's out.
Well, it depends.
But was it touched?
Well, no. We've got the end linesman calling it in, and we got the side linesman calling it out because he only calls the sideline. You see?
Well, they're still discussing it right now. Both captains over there. Ryan Taylor for Alberta, and that's Chris Nelson. And it will be point Alberta, so they take a little more momentum and a 23-21 lead, and a timeout is called by Winnipeg.
Now that's again,
Okay, Sandy's looking 5, going deep 1, and Defoe's going to pass it. Okay, from there. Okay, you got 9 coming out. I think he's going to go back to 9. Okay, he's going to go split, full read in the middle. Okay, Michael, full read in the middle, hands high, and let's do it here, okay? Let's get a turnaround. Let's get a turnaround, okay? Come on, back out there. Together. 1, 2.
Tons of emotion from first-year head coach Richard Schick.
So what he indicated there is that they're going to make the faux pass. Okay, that's number one. Number two, he already said, look, I'm pretty sure they're going to go to ends. But he says, I want you to use a full read in the middle. It means a read block. So you're going to watch it, and if you think it's there, then you go for it. But it's a read block as opposed to a commit block.
Great decision by Jason Defoe. Sandy Henderson, like you mentioned, Vic, was trying to make Defoe play the volleyball. The last second, he ducked, let it go out, and it was out, but just 23-22 now for Alberta.
That was a pretty gutsy move on Defoe when it's that close.
Stephen Love in his first year on the line with the set on the line. Ryder to Taylor to the outside. Emsley cross court. Does it touch the roof? No, it's alive. And into row one. Alberta on the brink of set number 3, taking a lead in this match.
Jeff Emsley should be the hero for all 6'2" outside hitters in the country, because he is not the least bit intimidated by the block.
He's got some jumps in him. The crowd is on their feet, and Emsley will serve for the set. Henley to Montgomery. Blocked it out. Winnipeg stays alive.
Montgomery taking the line on that, but this is repeating myself, but it all came from a great pass. Larry McKay was saying that also that Henley, when he first came, was Mr. Location. He always wanted to make sure of his location. And now he's starting to be more deceptive. There it is.
Brad Bell finishes it. That's set number 3. And you can see Richard Schick. Richard Schick was getting him back into the bench as quickly as possible. Brad Bell showing great emotion there and went to talk some trash.
That's exactly what he was doing.
And Richard Schick grabbed him and got him out of there.
Trash talking can come back to bite you. You must be very careful, because if you start trash talking and gets that other team fired up, that's not what you want.
It's 2-1 for the University of Alberta. They host this one. Hey, we're just getting started here. Come back and join us.
This update is brought to you by Kia. It's about time everyone had a well-made car.
Hello again, everybody. Blake Price in the TSN newsroom. You know, earlier in the week, Theo Fleury threatened to retire because of a perceived bias against him from NHL officials. So maybe a new Theo Fleury as he faced the Flyers today. First period, Rangers in the power play. Fleury gets the loose puck, bounces right to him, and he beats Brian Boucher far side and low. His 22nd, 2-0 New York. Although here's Fleury again. He blows it, takes a cross-check from Justin Williams right in front of the ref, and no call. Fleury says that's exactly what I'm talking about, in disbelief on the bench. Meanwhile, Eric Lindros with a hat trick for the Rangers, picking up the 3rd goal of the game in the 2nd period. 4-1 Rangers at that point, now 5-2 after 2. Elsewhere in the NHL right now, it's the Stars leading the Avalanche 2-0 after 2. Red Wings over the Penguins 2-1 after 2 as well. More men's volleyball coming up right next on TSN.
Change for $1.
Sure. Introducing the all-new Chevy Avalanche. The only vehicle that changes from an SUV to a pickup.
Thanks.
Chevy Avalanche, Motor Trend's 2002 Truck of the Year. Avalanche, like a rock.
As far as men go, I'm not hung up on looks. A nice smile is what I'm after. I want the hair, but not on the chest. My favorite color is red. I love cats. That's me in a nutshell. I hope you're my Mr. Right.
We saw some emotion to end set number 3. This is what you didn't see when both teams went to change ends. They're still talking back and forth, and a little pushing and shoving there from Brad Bell and a bench player, Sean Town, for Winnipeg.
Well, again, that was the main starters were going across on the other side. which is where you make the change. That could have been called an unsportsmanlike conduct. The last time I saw something like this was when the Cuban women and the Brazilian women got into it at the net. And then, believe it or not, the Cuban women went down to the Brazilian women's dressing room and punched them out later. So that was not a good day for volleyball.
Richard Schick tried to calm down Brad Bell as soon as he got him to the bench. They've had a chance to cool down now. A lot of emotion, especially from the University of Alberta, who of course have their home crowd in attendance. It's been a boisterous crowd as well. Winnipeg will start with the serve to start set number 4, and it's must-win time for the University of Winnipeg.
Looks like we've got a little discussion by the referee, more than likely indicating to them that this is a verbal warning. There is a signal for it. So he's got the captains over there letting them know that that is the end of that.
Chris Nelson and Ryan Taylor over there discussing things, and they'll just make sure that they keep everything calm and they don't cross over past that net. There's your quarterback for the University of Alberta, Ryan Taylor, the setter. And the setter for University of Winnipeg, Ryan Henley, will start things off in set number 4. Great positioning on the serve from Henley.
University of Alberta as a team were passing 2.2 on a 3-point scale, and the Winnipeg team is passing at 2.7, which is passing the light side.
And Alberta has the 1-set lead in the best of 5. 1-0 Winnipeg early in the 4th set. And that's out. It'll be 2-0, and Henley will stay on the line. It started out set number 1, Alberta with a 25-22 win in that set. Then it was all Winnipeg in set number 2, 25-16. And then set 3, back and forth with Alberta pulling it out 25-23, and we're in set 4. Henley puts it straight into the net. 2-1.
Henley's got to realize that when you're going up there as a float server, you've got to get up there and punch it hard. The little bloopy one there, well, there's another bloopy one as well. What is the matter with these guys? When you're up there to do the float serve, you've got to punch it. You know, the jump float.
Sandy Henderson right there.
See, the idea on the jump float is to be up higher than you normally are, and then of course you're hitting it just like a knuckleball in baseball. Commotion Chargers, Daryl has a great jump float.
3 serves into the net in a row. This time it's Jason Defoe's turn, and the pressure seems to be affecting these guys right now, Vic.
Well, the big statistic that we had, like from that last game, is that Winnipeg had 5 serving errors, whereas Alberta only had 2. And they got him calling, over the net. I talked to Peter Henry, who's the head of referees. You won't see them calling the setters on anything, but I mean, if you reach over the net, you're going to call them on that.
This is Emslie. We do get a serve in play. Short set, off the block and out. Point Winnipeg. They have a 1-point lead early in set number 4. That was Doby. And Doby will serve. Canada West All-Star. The national team, Cam Doby, 6'6" in his 3rd year from Winnipeg. Jason Defoe just wanted to talk quickly there with Larry McKay before the serve. Quick set by Taylor, and it's finished by Mike McPherson, who's come alive.
That wasn't one of your all-time great middle hits, but
he's made some plays, though, to finish the last set, and then one right there.
The key is the middle hitter. You got to get up there and make the contact, and even if you drop it in to that, that middle area, and why they call it the E-move. There, right out of the back row, but out of bounds.
Defoe, out of bounds. And he points to himself and says, yeah, my fault, my fault.
The football players do that?
All the time. I did it more than I wanted to. My fault, my fault. To the right side, tipped over. by Small.
It's out of bounds. Must have been outside the antenna.
Point will go to University of Alberta. They have a little momentum and a 2-point lead in set number 4. McPherson serves one more time. Henley, little tip by Nelson, and that's the tip/dink shot, and it works effectively for Winnipeg.
It really shouldn't have. I don't know how he managed to get that through, but the unusual play can sometimes get it through. He took it and tipped it back into zone 1, which was the effective place to put that one.
Jared Small with the serve. This is Kaler. Oh, hard from the back row, but it's blocked. And then hit out right there by Sandy Henderson.
If you're coming in from the back row on the pipe, the thing is you've got to use the angles, and he hit that one straight ahead. So back row players, many of them are watching, come in, hit that pipe, and hit it deep into 1 or deep into 5.
Taylor to Brad Bell, and that's it.
Well, we don't need Brad Bell any more fired up than what he was.
Well, he released a little anger right there. Great power. The leader and captain, Ryan Taylor, serving for University of Alberta. Henley with the short set to Nelson, and that's long. And now the home team has an 8-point lead as we head to the first technical timeout in this set 4 of the CIS Men's Volleyball Championship Final at the University of Alberta. You don't want to go away. It's getting fun.
Are you totally obsessed with steak? Perfect. Then come to the Keg Steak Obsession promotion till March 10th and satisfy your craving with one of our mouth-watering dishes. The Keg Steak Obsession promotion. On now till March 10th.
The Pontiac Sunfire. The sportiest car. For the price.
Grand Marnier. In a margarita. In a Cosmopolitan. On ice. Consider Grand Marnier. It changes everything.
The place is rocking, and head coach Richard Schick is doing the talking.
That's what they're doing. They're crashing. Even if it's like a 52 to our mids, okay? Just keep on the same pace. Give yourself some room and snap it deep to the corner, okay?
That was in the timeout in commercial. Richard Schick talking about hitting it into the corners, Vic, and also keeping their eyes open on the block. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I saw a picture in the Edmonton Journal and showed a couple of the blockers from this tournament blocking with their eyes closed.
Lee Montgomery, and I count 4 serves between both teams now into the net in the 4th set of this gold medal match.
Well, I like Jason Defoe's attitude. He says, I'm going to hit hard and harder, and I think that that's what happened on that one. He just didn't hit it as hard. Same with that one, didn't hit it hard.
Brad Bell just gets it over. Look at the work at the net there. That's the big man, Leo Carroll, at 6'8".
Well, that was an excellent block, and it was set up very, very well, though, by having the outside blocker, who was Sandy Henderson, set that block. I was talking to his mother up there as an assistant coach at Mount Royal College. Her name is Linda Henderson.
I think Vicky kept his eyes open on that block, and that's probably listening to his coach. Defoe off the block and out this time, and Winnipeg scratches back. 10-8 now for University of Alberta.
You may have noticed at that time there was a face block by Alberta. So Chris Nelson has had a great game considering he had that sprained ankle. I'm impressed that he's been able to stay in there.
That's a great story. Mentioned earlier in set 1, he was a walk-on in year 1 5 years ago. Chris Nelson is playing with a lot of guts right now. But right now, it's University of Alberta up 11-8 in set 4, and it's Carroll on the line. for the Golden Bears. Henley. Dobie can't get it past the block. To the outside, Defoe tries, and he has success. 11-9.
He had success because he hit it deep. He got it back into zone 5 in that back meter. Players have got to realize that, yes, it's nice to be able to bring the ball down sharply, but more appropriately, bring it down on the floor where there isn't anyone.
16 kills so far for Jason Defoe of Winnipeg. And they'll go back to Defoe on the left side. Handled there by Alberta. This time it's Henderson. He can't get past the block. Henley to the right side this time, and Small puts it out of bounds. (12-9) with Sandy Henderson, the lead and the volleyball. He'll serve. Puts it to Defoe. They want him to play it off the serve. Henderson to the outside this time. Emsley.
And what happened there is the University of Winnipeg knew that it was going to Emsley, so they immediately fired and put 3 people over there. 3-man block, and Emsley's pretty good, but that's a pretty big 3-man block.
Jason Defoe for the University of Winnipeg, who have to win this set to force a 5th and final set.
It's a great pass.
Hard and deep. Handled well by Alberta. And they finish well. Also, that's Emsley.
Emsley does well when there's a 2-man
one-on-one.
Yeah, well, it's 2. Well,
it's 2 there.
They got 2 guys over that time. Now, Emsley in this situation has had a little bit of trouble. Let's see how he does on this one.
Right at the Kelowna Volleyball Club, Jeff Emsley. Defoe from the back row.
Well, Jason Defoe is certainly finding ways to win.
Well, it's no secret where Henley is trying to get the ball. Trying to get it to Defoe. And it doesn't really matter where Jason Defoe is standing. He can hammer. Henderson turned away by Chris Nelson and Lee Montgomery. All of a sudden, Winnipeg back in it at 13-12. Alberta just 1 point down.
The key there is they went right over and sealed the net.
Taylor, quick set. Turned away again by your guy, Chris Nelson.
Yeah, well, Nelson's playing, again, he's in his 5th year. So he should be pretty good. But he's going right over that net.
Heart and desire from Chris Nelson. Started as a walk-on in his last match with the University of Winnipeg. Little tip there, and that is Brad Bell.
That's always the discussion.
And now some discussion as to whether or not it touched the floor. Henley thought he got it underneath it.
Well, every player that I know of that goes for the pancake, like particularly on my team, they go for the pancake and they go, it's up, it's up, it's up.
That's the only reason. But you better let him know he's used the ball up. Okay? Well, the whistle had gone, and then he hit the ball across and hit the guy in the face. Well, that's why I'm giving him a break. Okay,
For the officials giving University of Winnipeg a bit of a break because the whistle had blown and they continued to play. One of the players from University of Alberta was hit with the volleyball as a result of it. So he's giving him a warning. It will be a point and a 1-point lead for the University of Alberta. Henley. This is Lee Montgomery. That's power.
Yeah, well, I mean, he went well outside the court. And when he approached full out. In fact, so much so that he went under the net and crossed the center line, but he did it outside of the court.
Right.
Look at this big substitution. Let's see if he can be the closer.
Steven Enns comes in to serve at 14-14 in set 4. Enns, nice serve deep. Bell, that's saved by the libero. To the outside, Lee Montgomery turned away, but Henley can handle it. Nelson to the right side, a little tip there, handled by Alberta. Back to Brad Bell. Defoe keeps it alive, and Defoe from the backcourt. Taylor, the rally continues. This is Henderson off the block and out. Point Alberta.
Well, I remember I was saying what Richard Check said is Henderson will find a way. And that is certainly finding a way, catching the top of that block.
Ryan Taylor on the line now for Alberta. This is Henley. Montgomery. Well, he's coming hard.
Montgomery seems to have really come alive now, and he's just going harder and harder and harder. You gotta like that when a player, there's no half speeds with him.
Also in his 5th year, 6'4", Lee Montgomery from Winnipeg. Making a statement in the 4th set and keeping his team alive, but he serves it long. Second technical timeout coming up here in set number 4 of the CIS Men's Volleyball Championship Final. Alberta has a 1-point lead. Hang in there.
Change for $1.
Sure. Introducing the all-new Chevy Avalanche. The only vehicle that changes from an SUV to a pickup.
Thanks.
Chevy Avalanche, Motor Trend's 2002 Truck of the Year. Avalanche, like a rock.
It's time to plan your winter escape to Jasper's Pyramid Lake Resort.
The Ponds at Pyramid Lake Resort offers an exceptional dining experience amidst the breathtaking beauty of Pyramid Lake and Mountain.
Isn't it time you had a great escape this winter? Call Pyramid Lake Resort today at 1-888-852-4900 to book your winter escape.
Rubens Barrichello and Michael Schumacher have the pole in the Australian Grand Prix. That's Formula One racing tonight on TSN, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. We're in set number 4 of the CIS Men's Volleyball Championship Final between the University of Alberta, the hosts this year, the home crowd behind them, and the University of Winnipeg. And this is Brad Bell serving for Alberta. They have a 1-point lead. And it's Bell. Passes to Taylor. Taylor sets it to the outside. No net violation there. Defoe off the block. Taylor keeps it alive. Brad Bell. Great action here now, Vic. Back and forth, and Chris Nelson puts it out of bounds.
Chris Nelson is expected to be sharp and keep it in play. Right now, it's interesting. We've had 4 serving errors on Winnipeg, only 2 on Alberta, and I would say that's the key.
Brad Bell takes a breath before this very important serve at 17-15. Jason Defoe off the block and out. All strength there from Defoe. 18 kills so far.
Take a look at the great pass that he made. I mean, that pass was, as some of my players call money, it was right on the setter's hands.
Chris Nelson. Handled there.
Emsley going high and deep. It's a possibility, and I'm making a bit of a guess here, but I would think Pascal Cardinal needs to be warming up and getting ready to come in. I didn't say where.
Well, we'll watch it. Winnipeg also knows that Alberta wants to go to Emsley. This time they go down the middle to Leo Carroll.
Lee J. Montgomery would like to have that again because he was right in the position. And when you're in the position, you got to dig it.
Substitution is being made. This is Jason Brooks coming in again the game to serve at an important juncture. 6'7", 205 pounds.
Pascal Cardinal waiting for the call.
Will he be the next substitution for Richard Check? Winnipeg keeps it alive, and Sean Scarcello gets it over. This is Taylor to the outside. Emsley! Scarcello! A great dig!
Scarcello just earned his money as the libero. That ball's out of bounds, and no touch. Scarcello with a great effort there, Vic. His parents are up in the stands there, just above the basketball people. When the libero makes a play like that, you go, you're earning your keep. Look at this, look at this,
Wow.
look at this.
Little guy in a big guy's game at just 5'8". Libero, Sean Scarcello, gives some momentum to Winnipeg. Taylor tries to get it back. And again, a bit of a miss hit from Mike McPherson. Looks like he might have changed his mind in the air.
The bottom line is, is you put it away or keep it in play. And that's what he did. I mean, he was up there and it was missed time, but he made sure that it got over. Ooh, there's trouble. But it was recovered.
Blocked and out there, Mike McPherson.
Henley is doing a great job. You notice how he's saving these passes. These passes are going right at the top of the net. He's going up and making one-hand saves. This will be critical right now on Defoe.
Jason Defoe with that huge throw, and he's out by about 1.5 feet.
Larry McKay was saying earlier in the year when he saw Jason tossing the ball that high, he was asking him to get a little bit lower. Jason said, no, I'm staying with a high toss.
Huge point for University of Alberta. They now have a 1-point lead, 20-19 in the fourth set. Lee Montgomery hammers it home.
I'd say he buried it. He took that cross-court position between 4 and 5, sharp cross-court, but the big thing is that he hit a seam.
Right.
Now, he might have a slight injury, and if that's an injury of Ryan Taylor, that could be serious for Alberta.
And Richard Schick trying to slow things down while Ryan Taylor can regain his composure. He was trying to block Lee Montgomery. Well, Montgomery finished it to tie the score, and this is Taylor sending it to Brad Bell.
The ball is out of bounds.
He puts it out by inches. And Schick can't believe it.
Well, what Schick is possibly not wanting to believe is not wanting to believe that it wasn't a touch. Remember what I said earlier? Anytime a hitter hits the ball within 3 to 4 feet of the block, they would like the referee to call the touch.
No biggie, just
what you just saw was a physical, a timeout call, as you'll see from the volleyball head coach.
Shots, that's it. Okay, Ryan, you're in 2 right now. We got Mike. And you're in 3. Okay, hit. Oh yeah, okay, you're coming around, right? You're in the front row. Okay, let's go. Just get it 3 exactly, trusting each other. Okay, here we go. Let's put the ball away. Okay, let's go. Come on, hey, 1, 2. You got a free ball coming here.
The Golden Bears 5 points away from becoming national champions.
Now, I'm not exactly sure what Richard was referring to. He said get a 3, which I'm presuming is a 3 pass, which is that perfect pass. That's a perfect pass. And it's put away.
Coming out of another key timeout called by Richard Schick. Jeff Emsley ties the score. And now Schick will make some key substitutions. He gets some height at the net from Leo Carroll, who comes in.
Jeremy King coming in the back row.
Mike McPherson goes out, and Jeremy King, like you mentioned, goes to the service line. We'll see if it pays off for Richard Schick. Henley to the right side, blocked, but blocked out of bounds. Point for Winnipeg, who now have a 1-point lead in the fourth set, a set they have to win to force set number 5.
Well, if Stephen Enns didn't know it, I'm sure he does. This is absolutely critical. His job, yes, he got a great serve in there.
Taylor to Brad Bell, blocked, but can they keep it alive? No, it goes into the scorer's table, and Winnipeg now on the brink of forcing set number 5.
Val Keller, who was the technical director for Canada, said the serve and the block are connected. And you saw Stephen Enns put a great serve in, which put him in trouble, and the wall was formed.
Colin, what rotation are they in?
They are in this one.
Okay, now, where's the next rotation? Show me. Right here?
Yeah. Most going to 13.
Lots of pluses, eh?
Yeah.
Not too many pluses, actually. That's Lee J. serving, right?
In the first and fourth set.
Hey, talk now when you're out there. Decide where you're blocking, where you're playing defense. Do it. Here we go.
Vic, what a lot of people, I think, watching don't realize is how much strategy is actually involved in volleyball.
Well, I love Larry going over and saying, look, tell me exactly what rotation we're in, and also, what is going to be the tendency here? The assistant coach was suggesting it's likely going to go to Henderson. I think that he said it was going to go to Henderson.
Pressure serve for Stephen Enns. Handle Taylor. You can hear a pin drop all of a sudden in the gym as the tension mounts. Taylor to the outside. Brad Bell blocked. Kept alive by Alberta. Taylor again. He'll just get it over. That was going long. Scarcello kept it in play. Defoe keeps it. And the rally continues as Montgomery off the block and alive. Taylor to the outside. Brad Bell with the tip. And count. Alberta stays alive. 23-21.
Brad Bell saw that Lee Montgomery had stumbled over on the far side. So he ended up putting the tip right into the emu there. You see, there's nobody there. That would normally be covered by your left front player coming across to get that, particularly if he read it. Notice the assistant coach from Winnipeg chose right. He said it was going to go to Montgomery, and it did.
1 point difference now in set number 4. Brad Bell. Quick spike there. This is Taylor. He goes to the right side now to Henderson. Scarcello gives it past to Nelson, who just gets it over. Taylor, quick set. Ball's out of bounds from Carroll.
Well, I tell you, Scarcello really impressed me when he decided to forearm pass to the middle.
We're a point away from a 5th set in the CIS Men's Volleyball Championship Final. If Lee Montgomery can do his thing from the line, Winnipeg will force a 5th set here. You have to win by 2.
Pretty good blockers in the front row for Winnipeg right now.
Montgomery into the net. Oh boy, a freebie for the University of Alberta.
But you notice he went for it now.
And he's a veteran.
He went for it.
Brad Bell this time off the net and in play.
And they went.
That is the set, Chris Nelson. And now we have a set number 5.
You get a great pass that you can go quick in the middle, and that's exactly what happened to Chris Nelson there. Chris is limping a little bit right now. Is he going to be able to last out these whole 5 sets?
Well, it's been back and forth. 25-23 is the final in set 4 for the University of Winnipeg. We're coming back for set 5.
Imagine offering hope tomorrow for something that seems impossible today. Right now, Manitoba scientists are researching a vaccine for AIDS.
22 million people have died of AIDS, and about 35 million people have HIV currently and will ultimately die of AIDS. One of the main things we're doing right now is trying to understand natural immunity to HIV. We've identified a group of prostitutes who, despite many, many years of exposure to HIV, aren't infected. We know a huge amount about the virus. We know about kind of immune responses that seem to protect, and we're in the process of testing vaccines. And probably the most important thing is that we understand how to prevent it. The feeling that you get when you discover something new is almost indescribable, and it's tremendously rewarding.
Celebrating 125 years of learning, research, and community service, the University of Manitoba is proud to salute Manitobans who make a difference.
Thank you for learning to skate, for picking yourself up and trying again, for wanting the puck, for learning to shoot, for loving our game. But most of all, thank you for having a dream.
Idiomatic
quanto è bello, io tanto sentimento come tua che tiene in mente.
New from McCain. McCain International Thin Crust Pizza. Taste being there.
Welcome back to the University of Alberta. It's been back and forth in this men's final, the gold medal match. Set number 1 went to Alberta, set 2 to Winnipeg, set 3 Alberta, and set 4, which went back and forth, Vic, went to Winnipeg. We got a set 5. What do you see after 4?
Oh, was he really even here? But there's a big stat right there. I mean, that's clearly a big stat. The service aces, but at the same time, which we don't have on there, are the errors that Winnipeg's made on the serve. You get aces, but at the same time, you're going to have errors. Take a look, 57 kills, though. That's pretty impressive. I'd say it's right now the serving aces.
So it comes down to a 5th and final set. 5th-ranked University of Alberta against the number 2-ranked University of Winnipeg heading into the tournament. It all come down to the 5th set. Now, in the 5th set, they play to 15, but you still have to win by 2. So hang around. It's been back and forth for quite a while. I don't think this one's going to end at 15. Something tells me we could see this one go on a little longer than that.
Well, you know, rally point is fairly new into the game, but rally point has always been in the 5th set. So we've always, well, I should say always, but 10 years, we've been playing rally point in the 15-point set. So now it's going to be really critical as to who you put back to serve early. Now it's
Steven Enns gets a start for the University of Winnipeg.
And Defoe normally would be back there to serve, but they're not having him back to serve. They want him in the front row early.
Alberta goes with Bell, Snyder, and that's Emsley in the backcourt. That's Snyder. He digs it out of there. Emsley from the left side.
Ryan Henley almost got away with that right hand long tip to the corner. Adam Parks at Camosun College says that very well, and I could have swore Henley was going to get away with that. It's a great dump shot that many setters don't use enough.
Henley, quick to Nelson, turned away at the net. This time it's Mike McPherson who's really stepped up in the last 2 sets.
Oh, Mike McPherson has been told to read, okay? So he read that they were going in the middle, and he was right on top of it.
Sandy Henderson. 2-0 lead for University of Alberta. Lee Montgomery says, wait a minute. He makes it 2-1 in a hurry.
He put it right through the 1-6 seam. So if you've got that opening, instead of hitting it straight down the line, you take it and put it right through the seam. See? He hit it right through that seam.
Montgomery will serve. 2-1. University of Alberta in the 5th and final set. The men's championship gold medal on the line. Here we go. Outside to Emsley. Henley handles it easily.
We had a net violation.
Net violation, Alberta.
Steven Enns showing why he's going in there as the sub coming out of the back row. I talked to Steven Enns' dad. He said he remembers coaching against my son at the Canadian Midget Girls Championship a few years ago.
Montgomery to serve.
Oh, just
out by inches. The crowd, a bit of a factor. You hear the crowd just turn up the volume a little bit just as Lee Montgomery went to release that volleyball. This is Emsley for Alberta.
Well, that's a good serve by Emsley.
Defoe kept alive by Henderson. He'll go back at it, cross court for a winner.
Mr. Sandy Henderson's going to find a way. He might have a great future in beach volleyball as well. Take a look at the save he makes, and then he comes back to get in it. So he makes the save, incredible save, and then gets right back in the game.
Another good serve by Jeff Emsley. Little tip there by Nelson, handled by Taylor. The outside Brad Bell off the block and out, and the University of Alberta have a 5-2 lead in the 5th set that goes just to 15.
We'll get a timeout call, and you know, Nelson's got to get up there. If he's going to go to the middle, he's got to get up there and hammer it. It's fine to go to one side of the block, but you got to hit it hard.
okay? You keep digging deep here, you keep stroking threes, okay? They're gonna get tentative, we gotta push, okay? We don't do anything different, none of this stuff, okay? We stay at the level. Again, not harder, smarter. Sandy, you can score on that chisel three-quarter all day. And power hitters, have some faith in a tip down the line. If you got a 2 or a 3 call block, let's go. But it's got to be over. Not so fine line, not so fine line. 1, 2.
That's an interesting comment. Not harder, but smarter. Right about now, that can be critical. It's also letting them know what particular spots are open.
Richard Schick, fun to listen to. I love the enthusiasm and the emotion.
Last year, he was coach of the university, or not the university, but Red Deer College, and they won the national championship. I mean, he said volleyball has just been a thrill for him. He got introduced to volleyball playing, what was it? Co-ed sixes. That's how he got introduced. He didn't play much in high school. In fact, he said when he went to play for University of Saskatchewan, he couldn't figure out why they wouldn't let him set when he rotated to position 3. And he wanted me to say hi to his mom and dad.
Chris Nelson. That was Ryan Taylor, the setter, who turned around on the attack. It went off the block and out. That's a point for Alberta. They now have a 6-3 lead with Mike McPherson serving.
Well, Ron Pike of Trinity Wesmen says depends on how Ryan Taylor plays at the net. Well, I tell you, you don't get much better than that, getting up and smacking it to the floor.
Jason Defoe locked the kids alive. Quick set, and that's Leo Carroll, and now you can feel the momentum building for the University of Alberta, and their crowd is into it.
That's Leo Carroll because of an incredible set by Taylor. Taylor's setting them up. Taylor's putting the ball down. That Ron Pike of Trinity Western knew what he was talking about.
Sean Scarcello, the libero, handles that. Now it's Taylor's turn to the outside. Brad Bell with the tip. That's turned away. Taylor to Carroll again. Back to back.
Okay, what you had happen there was the jump set by Taylor, which made it look like he was going to hit it.
There is one technical timeout in set 5. We're in it now. It's 8-3, but don't leave. Don't count out Winnipeg. We'll be right back.
Designing a comfortable, functional artificial limb is a precise science, but it can be even more challenging designing prosthetics for children.
Most of the feet are designed for adult amputees, and they are tested on adult amputees, and normally they perform quite well. But when these feet are used by children, they often break within 6 months. We attach the markers on the child's legs. When the child walks in front of the cameras will track the motion of the markers and give us a quantitative information about how this child walks with that specific foot. I would like to see that we can contribute to improve the quality of their lives so they can do things that other children can do and they can be happier.
Celebrating 125 years of learning, research, and community service, the University of Manitoba is proud to salute Manitobans who make a difference.
Welcome back. Alberta serving up 8-3 in set number 5. It's Mike McPherson, 7 points away from a national title. Stephen Enns, handled there by Henderson, who puts it right into the net.
Taylor was looking for that back set to Henderson, and that's been one of his bread and butter. One of the big stats that we just got here, 16 service errors from Winnipeg. At the same time, although that looks pretty serious, and it is, their serves have been putting Alberta in trouble when it is in.
Brad Bell puts Winnipeg in trouble with some power cross court. 9-4, 6 points from a national title.
He just, like, slipped it through. Not
Ryan
hard.
Taylor to serve for the Golden Bears. This is Henley, the quick set. This time he goes outside and blocked by Leo Carroll. He has been all over that net in the 5th set. 6'8", Leo Carroll with another great block at the net. And the University of Winnipeg will call a timeout. 6th block for Leo Carroll.
So you're on time. Good swing. Good swing. Good pass here now, guys. Make sure you get in and cover. Hey, you've only lost if you think you've lost.
Exactly.
Okay? All right? They haven't got 15 yet. Hang in there. Hang in there. There's some points coming our way. Okay, but we got to hang around. All right? Here we go, Winnipeg. All right, let's go. Here.
I love it. You've only lost if you think you've lost. Hang in there. Hang around. The words of Larry McKay, the head coach, University of Winnipeg Wesmen, who need to find a way to hang around to get this one close. 10-4 right now, and all the momentum with the University of Alberta.
And you're behind 10-4 in a 15-point game. That's quite a gap. Most colleges are behind 10-1 in a 25-point game and came back on the weekend. Ooh, that's trouble.
Henley keeps it alive, tips it back to Dobie, who finishes it.
That's an unbelievable set. Ryan Henley is doing a superb job.
Graduate of substitution now from Larry McKay. He'll put in Gerald Small and take out Stephen N. So he gets some more height playing that front row from Gerald Small at 6'5". Oh boy, Jason Dufault. You talked about it a moment ago. That's the 17th service error for the University of Winnipeg, and that from their most valuable player, Jason Dufault. He has made 6 service errors by himself. Defoe handles that one. Henley to Lee Montgomery. Blocked! Again! It's Leo Carroll.
So Henley is taking his time, just talking to his players, letting them know what he wants done.
Again, that quick set from Henley to Dobie. 12-6 now for Alberta.
I like Brian Henley's calm demeanor.
Another substitution here from Larry McKay. He takes out Dobie and puts in Stephen Love to serve, and you just saw him serve. This is Taylor. The quick set. Carroll misses it, but then recovers. This time to the outside. Emsley tries to tip, and he's good. And I think that was called by the coach, Richard Schick, because he turned around immediately and said, nice call.
Well, that's because that's what Richard had told him in the timeout. He said, if you're up there and you got a big block and you can see the tip is open down the line, put it in there. Good for Emsley. He turned over and he said, thanks, coach.
University of Alberta Golden Bears can taste a national title just 2 points away. Jason Brooks serving off the block and out. Winnipeg trying any way they can to hang on. Will put Stephen Enns on the line.
This game only goes to 15 right now.
13-7, Golden Bears. Their crowd are getting up onto their feet in parts of this stadium. Nice serve by Enns. Henderson! 1 point from a national title.
Taylor and Henderson must be good friends. Taylor just, you know, if he needs the ball put away, he's giving it to Henderson.
And it'll be Sandy Henderson to serve for the set and match. And he serves it long.
At low toss. He didn't take time on that.
He rushed it. It's long, and it's 14-8 with Lee Montgomery to serve. Remember, with rally point, Alberta can win receiving the serve.
Montgomery. He took something off it.
Taylor, the quick tip is out, and Winnipeg is hanging in there. Oh my! Lee Montgomery
Montgomery really took a lot off that, and that was interesting because he normally hits it hard. Let's see what he does this time.
14-9, Montgomery.
Took it off again.
Snyder to Taylor. Henley to the outside. Jason Defoe. Recovered by Snyder. Henley. The quick set to Nelson. Taylor this time. Emsley. Outshot.
Come on, down, Ray. Come on.
They have been the underdogs all tournament, ranked 5th coming in, but every dog has his day, and the Golden Bears are national champions in men's volleyball. Emsley was involved in the recovery. It was Mike McPherson who finished it. And the Alberta Golden Bears, ranked 5th, win the gold. What a match for the men's final. We'll be back with the award presentation in a moment.
The 2002 Pontiac Montana, with the added traction of Versatrack all-wheel drive. Pontiac Montana, built for drivers and their families.
Hand-picked oranges. 100% pure juice. Pour out our best. Old South frozen concentrated orange juice. A tradition you can trust.
Are you totally obsessed with steak? Perfect. Then come to the Keg Steak Obsession promotion till March 10th and satisfy your craving with one of our mouth-watering dishes. The Keg Steak Obsession promotion. On now till March 10th.
As far as men go, I'm not hung up on looks. A nice smile is what I'm after. I like lots of hair, but not on the chest. My favorite color is red. I love cats. That's me in a nutshell. I hope you're my Mr. Right.
Oh, when you're smiling. Yeah, when you're smiling. The whole world, it smiles with you.
Smiles, crispy outside, mashed potato inside. From McCain.
Welcome back to the University of Alberta, where the Golden Bears have won their 3rd men's volleyball championship, defeating the University of Winnipeg, ranked number 2 coming in. They've knocked off Winnipeg. They knocked off the number 1 ranked University of Manitoba. And right now we have one of the stars for University of Alberta, power hitter Brad Bell. Brad, congratulations on a big win.
Hey, thanks very much.
You had 12 kills in this game. The momentum went back and forth. Talk about your feelings, the roller coaster of emotions in this match for you guys.
Oh, it was a battle, absolute battle from the start right to the finish, and it was tough. We worked hard, we worked as a team, and we came through.
Brad, your coach said to me, he said, Brad has the heart of a champion. How about outlining the championships that you've had? Go right back to juvenile. Take us through it, because you know what it's like to win.
Well, I won 2 in juvenile, 2 in college, and a Norseca. So.
Congratulations, Brad. We'll be right back to wrap things up. The University of Alberta Golden Bears are men's volleyball national champions. We'll be back in a moment.
The 2002 Pontiac Montana, with the added traction of Versatrack all-wheel drive. Pontiac Montana, built for drivers and their families.
Introducing Gourmet Cafe, streusel coffee cake desserts by McCain. So ravishingly tempting, they're perfect for any occasion. Gourmet Cafe in cherry, apple, or blueberry streusel. Smothered in a cachet of fruit, fresh ground cinnamon, and sweet brown sugar. Gourmet Cafe by McCain. Dessert at home will never be the same.
Thank you for learning to skate, for picking yourself up and trying again, for wanting the puck, for learning to shoot, for loving our game. But most of all, thank you for having a dream.
This TSN update is brought to you by Pizza Hut, the best tasting pizzas under one roof.
Welcome back to the TSN Newsroom, everybody. I'm Blake Price. Mario Lemieux's bad hip has cost him the rest of the season. Could cost him more depending on how he improves by next year.
As I said last year when I came back, I'd love to play, you know, maybe until I'm 40, but certainly my health's going to be a big issue if I'm able to play, you know, 60, 70 games a year. I'd love to play a few more years. My plan is to rehab over the next few months and come back ready to play next year and 100% and in great shape. And if I can do that and you know, play most of the games next year and enjoy the game, I'll keep playing.
There's a surprise Theo Fleury with some words for NHL officials today in his game. Complete highlights coming up at 6:30. More of the men's volleyball championship right away on TSN.
They beat Queens in the quarterfinal. They beat #1 ranked Manitoba in the semis, and now Winnipeg in the final. For the awards presentation to the Golden Bears, here's Nathan Smith.
Tier 1 individual is recognized for his outstanding athletic abilities and stands out among all the athletes who make their way to nationals. I would now like to call upon Mr. Bruce Alexander, National Sales Manager for Baden, to present this year's Tournament MVP award on behalf of the Source for Sports.
Mesdames et messieurs, chaque année, un individu est reconnu pour ses habiletés athlétiques et se démarque parmi tous les athlètes qui se sont rendus aux nationaux. Je voudrais maintenant inviter M. Bruce Alexander, gérant national des ventes pour Baden, à présenter le prix du joueur le plus utile au nom de la Source du sport.
This year's championship MVP from the University of Alberta, #2, Ryan Taylor.
Le joueur étoile du championnat de cette année de l'Université d'Alberta, numéro 2, Ryan Taylor.
I would now like to call upon and please welcome Kim Gordon, Director of Athletics at the University of Alberta, and Sheila Ann Newton, Manager Events and Programs of the CIS, to present the championship banner and trophy to the 2002 CIS Volleyball Champions, the University of Alberta Golden Bears.
There is your MVP, Ryan Taylor, the University of Alberta Golden Bears setter. There's the championship banner and trophy. They are volleyball national champions in his first year as the head coach. Richard Schick, with all that emotion on the sideline, leads the Golden Bears to the national title. We'll be right back.
Hello.
Introducing the V-Box. Phone, text, email. First from Rogers AT&T. Imagine.
Where'd you get that salad? Wendy's. Where? Wendy's. Oh, so you're not gonna tell me.
People just can't believe Wendy's 4 new salads filled with everything from mandarin oranges to honey roasted pecans.
Keep your little secret. It must be a power thing.
Wendy's Garden Sensations. You've got to taste them to believe them.
Take off in a Sunfire. Drive away without paying.
Please ride responsibly. Avoid unnecessary risks, difficult terrain, and never engage in stunt riding.
ATV Off-Road Fury. Get it when you buy the PlayStation 2 computer entertainment system.
When you shave, are you demanding?
Extremely.
Then demand Schick Extreme 3. Canada's only triple blade disposable razor. Which means, after a whole bunch of great shaves, you just toss it and serve up another one, which is rather convenient.
Extremely.
Schick Extreme 3, Canada's only triple blade disposable.
Well, welcome back to the University of Alberta. Vic Lindell along with Glenn Suter. And Vic, this is the third year that we've done this together, and I love the emotion. It's a great honor and privilege to cover college sports because I love the emotion in gymnasium like this. And once again, we had a great crowd and a great fun.
Well, when you go 5, I mean, that's the essence of the game. The passing was excellent on Winnipeg, but they didn't have their service in as often as they would like to have had in. You had some exceptional play. And I mean, Taylor got MVP as the setter. He set it up. And it wasn't until late in the game that he actually did some attacking. So he did everything for them. I thought the liberos on both teams played really well, keeping both teams in the game. That position is now starting to come into its own.
That's how it ended. The University of Alberta Golden Bears win their 3rd title. Ranked number 5 coming in. They are national champions in men's volleyball. For Vic Lindell, Glenn Suter, and everyone at TSN, thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.
TSN, Canada's sports leader.